Welcome. We're going to talk about terrorism for a moment. An international terror threat to the southwest is, as things stand, a pretty remote possibility. But we do have Plymouth as a naval base, and regardless, no part of Britain is completely immune to an international threat to its security. The difficulty with provincial terror threats, should they occur, is that we currently neither have the resources nor the mindset to respond as instantly as necessary. But there's a subplot here, and it relates to our own attitude of mind. Arguably, the greatest threat to international peace in recent years has been the emergence of ISIS, the terror group that the BBC clumsily calls the so-called Islamic State. ISIS ideology is based on the us and them concept, summed up in the words, you are with us or you are against us. They divide the world into Dar al-Islam and Dar al-Harb, the world of peace and the world of war, and regard everybody that is not with them as guilty of apostasy and sin. What we have to watch out for in ourselves is that we don't become, in some degree, like them. That we don't begin to regard any foreigner at our gates, even a refugee, as an enemy. That we don't start saying we are better than them. We should treat everyone with equal respect because it is our duty to treat everyone with equal respect. That is our obligation if we are to build a safer world. Whether we are black or white, gay or straight, Christian or Muslim, we all matter equally in the eyes of God. That said, I have lived and worked in the Middle East and traveled frequently in war zones. I know what it is to value the precious haven we have in Devon and Cornwall, in our homeland here. So let me be absolutely clear. If elected, I will be particularly vigilant in this regard and ensure that the police force of the Southwest has sufficient resources and is prepared in every way to deal with any potential threat to our peace and stability. The discussion that follows on this subject is with Ambassador Mark Hamley, whom some of you will remember as having helped me with my campaign when I last stood for election. He is former U.S. Ambassador to Lebanon, and I think you will find his comments of particular interest. So, Ambassador Hamley, Mark, thank you for agreeing to help me in this short video, this short discussion about security. We were going to talk about the security issue. Absolutely. Because it's relatively important for Cornwall, just as it is for all of Britain, and for Devon. It's critically important because Devon has Plymouth, exactly. And the whole issue of the dockyard and so on. So there are security issues involved in Devon and Cornwall. All of Britain faces a kind of terrorist threat. Obviously, it's very great in the capital cities of the world. We've seen Paris, we've seen in the past issues in London. Should Devon, should Cornwall be concerned about security issues?
Well, absolutely. In the broad picture, William, I think security is an issue for everyone, every place in the United Kingdom, the United States, and Europe. We've seen the threat we face at the moment is an organized threat on the one hand, and it's also lone wolves on the other hand that are responding to a master elsewhere or actions taken elsewhere. And I think in Cornwall and Devon's case, certainly what we've seen when these groups attack Paris or attack London, they always pick slightly different targets, slightly different initiatives. In New York, it was airplanes. In Madrid, it was train stations. In London, it was trains and buses. It was the underground and buses.
Yes, indeed.
In Paris, it was the National Soccer Stadium and the Bataclan concert hall and restaurants. Innocent people targeted in every instance. People had nothing at all to do with with the particular cause that these repugnant individuals were attempting to support, allegedly.
But are we scaremongering? I mean, these things have not hit the regions as much.
No, they haven't, but we do have instances. I think you want to be prepared. I think everyone, certainly a police commissioner and the chief constable, have a responsibility to take an overall view of the entire security picture in the areas of their responsibility. And I think, what does that mean? That means that when you have key bridges across River Tamar, such as the Tamar Road Bridge and the Royal Albert Railroad Bridge, the beautiful structure by Engineer Brunel, you want to make sure that that these are properly protected against possible attempts at sabotage. Not very likely, but nonetheless, you have to make sure that that's on your agenda to make sure that the proper measures take place. You have a Royal Navy Yard as well in
Plymouth,
in
yes.
Plymouth Naval Base, and that is something which I'm sure the UK government is taking a very keen interest in, and you want to make sure that you have proper liaison between your local police forces with the Navy on that as well. In terms of the lone wolf type of attack, where you'd have perhaps someone who takes off at a church, at a school or something, you want people to know how they're supposed to respond to these sorts of instances. You want to know if you're in a cafe suddenly targeted by spray bullets, what are you supposed to do? Well, it's quite clear. We learned in Paris that the answer, you should get down on the ground and you should cover yourself as best you can from the gunshots. You shouldn't stand up and look. You should have it ingrained in people's minds what they do in that sort of situation. This is not scaremongering. This is being practical in the dangerous world we live in today.
Mm-hmm. And so, do you? I mean, God forbid. I don't see it. I don't think. I cannot believe that there would be an attack of this kind. But nonetheless, one of our concerns is that all of our, well, I don't like the idea of armed police, but nonetheless, we live in this world. All of our primary rapid response police forces are basically London focused.
Yes. And this has been broadcast to the terrorists now. We've told them that, you know, if they attacked in Bristol or in Exeter or in Plymouth, there wouldn't be the same, they say, the same amount of emphasis because the SWAT teams don't exist there, they're not as trained as well. We have to make sure that that's not the case. There should be at least some capability which can be used to respond to any kind of attack in a city like Exeter, Plymouth, or Truro, or someplace like that.
Very difficult in an era in which you've got spending cuts with regard to the police force.
That's the problem.
Yes, because you really do need a sophisticated police force that can have a rapid response capability.
And of course, you have so many other priorities too with the police force. So frankly, you know, it's a situation where the government will have to decide whether they're going to what priorities they have, and the cuts which they make. Every government is under pressure to make cuts in spending, but perhaps they should reconsider some of those cuts.
Bless you. Well, I strongly agree. I think that we cannot in this modern world be cutting back on the police. It is just so disturbing. Thank you. I think we've covered it really, and it is such a crucial issue. But bless you, we will try and work for to maintain the kind of police force that we need to deal with this threat and the other concerns.
Yeah. We have an excellent start. You have an excellent chief constable, I understand, and a very committed police force throughout Devon and Cornwall. I've had an opportunity to meet with several of them in the past, and so I think you have a good base to work from there.
Bless your heart. Thank you, Ambassador Handley.